today I'd like to talk to you about the full moon on the 18th of March 2022 at 27 degrees of Virgo. Now, the chart aspects form a kite formation that all lead back to the Pisces sun and the huge stellium we have in Pisces right now, which reinforces an ending of something in the area of Virgo in your chart, but also very strongly affected by your Pisces house. Now, your Virgo life area of feeling safe and secure and worthy can be improved by order and clarity at this time, even in emotions. Remember that practice makes perfect, not unrealistic expectations, which always leads to disappointment. Now, Virgo can tend to overwork in order to feel useful or needed or valued. Therefore, stay in balance. But this full moon can help you cut that which is unnecessary and focus and get down to business as far as your life path is concerned, cutting your losses and moving forward. The ruler of this moon is Mercury, currently in Pisces at 13 degrees, and it is co-ruled by Venus, the ruler of the North Node of Destiny at this time, now in goal-oriented Aquarius, as this full moon is occurring in the third decan of Virgo and puts much more emphasis on practicality, stability, resources, and moving towards this and towards your goals. It's manifestation time. Now, full moons are about things coming to a head, a culmination or a finishing, a fruition of sorts. And this is also a time where there can be more conflicts or tensions between your mind and feelings, the opposite sex, family members, work and home, parents and children. And anything out of balance can become more apparent. On the other hand, new attractions are possible, as well to people that are much different than you or very unexpectedly. Now, during Pisces season, we become more aware of how our subconscious influence our actions and how it may not always align with our conscious intent. Our past coping patterns can come to light, and this is a really important time to let go of these, as they most likely don't serve us anymore. And even though we have much more of a watery, emotional stellium in Pisces at this time with the Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, Neptune, all in Pisces, we are also more inclined to act to what is immediately necessary now that the moon is activating Virgo. Or there may be the possibility of emotional repression at times or fluctuations with this opposition. There's a push and a pull between order and chaos and work and responsibility and rest and procrastination on something important, or maybe something you've been dealing with for a long time and you may not really want to face it on an emotional level or on a daily level yet. Being hypercritical and worrying or letting go and going with the flow. The moon here can bring change or our attention to service to others, our health, our hygiene, our daily habits, our work schedules and routines, overworking or laziness, detail or too general, boundaries or the lack thereof, our pets, how we deal with our responsibilities, how we self-care, how we self-worth. We could do well to unwind more by creating with our hands or working out physically and eating healthier. This is a great time to become very aware of your body and how emotional repression can actually cause disease in the body, and we can become sort of spotlighted to unhealthy habits, including also psychological games of making others feel guilty, being too critical, being a martyr. We could ask ourselves, where and how can I take better care of myself and others in a more balanced way? And how can everyone win? Now, the sun is also conjunct Neptune, and there can be a tendency to be so intuitive and so concerned with other people and their well-being that you can neglect yourself. Therefore, remain conscious of your boundaries and balance these energies out, or you can lose yourself. You may need to spend more time alone, avoid the use of drugs or alcohol for escapism. Allergies and drug sensitivity can be much more intense with all this Piscean energy. There's also a lot of hidden things going on in the world right now with all of this Pisces energy. For some, there can be an overwhelm of emotion. Therefore, stay kind. There are people dealing with extreme loss and depression at this time, a loss of hope, and it is important to surround ourselves with people and environments that support us and lift us up. Self-harm can be prominent, as we can easily feel like we are drowning at times. This is a time to really tap into prayer, tap into your higher calling, as we are reminded that we are ultimately not in control, and that there is a need here to surrender and let go, and to let what is done be done. If you are unsure of how to proceed, it is good to just focus on what you can do right now in your immediate environment, simplifying and tackling everything one at a time, keeping the faith as your path becomes more clear. Do what you can, because it'll create more peace so that you can cope better. There's great opportunities possible now and possibilities for changing your immediate environment, even if it's just spring cleaning or planting a garden, as resources are becoming very, very important now. And prices on everything is going up with oil and gas and food prices and supply lines, everything being affected right now. It's very important to remember that the South Node is in Scorpio and the North Node is in Taurus, and we are to go back to the basics and go back to growing our own food and creating our own security. It's important to clear out what no longer works, including relationships, investigating your feelings and going deeper if you need to. With Pluto at a new degree point as well, we're very aware of where we do not have control and letting go in order to set ourselves free from that obsession, or it will simply control and consume us in return. Therefore, that what is for you will be. You will not need to force it. Your ego and drive are intrinsically more related to your goals at this time. So there's a lot of motivation to move forward. The moon is also opposite Neptune, and it is normal to experience strange and unusual feelings, emotions, intense and oversensitivity, especially if your personal planets are also connecting. You may question if you're realistic, and misunderstandings can be very common. It can be easy to take things personally when they were never intended that way. Your subconscious survival patterns from the past and childhood, like I said, can really kick in unnoticed. Depression, discouragement, confusion, and feeling not good enough or guilty can bring upon depression and even disease. Therefore, use this time to again simplify, practice kindness to not only others but also yourself, and take control of what you can and allow God to do the rest. There is a great energy and passion for sexual intimacy and deeper conversations, as superficiality won't do, as there's a hunger for deeper meaning now. Our emotions and life path are more aligned, therefore listen to your gut, listen to your body. The opportunities and the connections we are making now are very important and are pointing us into important directions. Now, with the ruler Mercury now conjunct Jupiter in Pisces, there's more allowance to tune in with a broader, almost interdimensional view and understanding on a spiritual and intuitive level. Even though we don't have all the light on the path, the light is within, and we are invited to tap into that. Jupiter is also assisting in hope and protection. It's also bringing our attention to children, refugees. A lot of humanity is coming under the spotlight now. We must just not forget to trip up on small details as well now with Mercury and Pisces, as Mercury here can sometimes be a bit like Mercury retrograde at times. Now, Mercury's sextile Uranus bringing more possibilities for meeting interesting people or having interesting and unusual conversations, discoveries. For some, this can really lighten some heaviness and bring some excitement and surprises. If you are too set or obsessed with one way of thinking or a specific topic in your life, or thinking that your path was supposed to go this way and not that way, then this aspect can be a bit more disruptive, reminding you to loosen up a bit and allow for mental exploration and another view. The view or the path forward might look different than what you planned originally. But what can you learn? Leave room for spontaneity and allow your mind to expand. Venus is conjunct Mars, and there can be a strong need for interaction, and sexual relationships, like I said, can be very satisfying at this time. They're also both squaring Uranus in Taurus. And love can surprise us. It can be more likely that we are impatient, though, with those close to us, and we may seek to spice up and make our relationships more interesting at this time. Patterns and relationships that do not work will become unbearable, and you will be more passionate in making change. The less flexible relationships are at this time, the more difficult this energy can be. Or it can be very fun and allow you to explore each other in new ways and allow for deeper and more powerful connections that are geared towards freedom. Or really weird and unusual types of love is possible now. Many partners. But this is not really a great time for blind dates or crazy makeover ideas that cannot be changed, as this aspect can end up different than what you thought it would be, and not always in a good way. You are more aware at this time with these energies of where you are restricted, and you will most likely want to be able to really express yourself authentically. There can also be impulsiveness and disregard towards obligations, because Mars here wants to fight for freedom in Aquarius. And we can also, in general, see maybe more cyber attacks. There can be a strong need to break away from something specific, or a person, a situation, a job, a way of life. And remember that new challenges require new solutions. We may see more groups acting together towards a common goal, and even new innovations in connectivity, as well as electricity and internet outages. Sudden financial shifts or hiccups are possible now as well. In general, we can expect more political action, alliances broken or new ones formed, and really evaluating our support systems and the communities that support us. And becoming aware that our resources and natural resources are going to become much more valuable than our currency. But with both also sextile to Chiron, Venus and Mars, it makes for a time where we can truly converse and share intimately with one another and allow huge opportunity for healing now, which doesn't come without pain, because these wounds first are triggered, and sometimes they come from very, very deep subconscious levels, with all of this energy in Pisces as well. So it can be a very very up and down time for some people. But we are stronger together, and it's important to try to not see everyone as your competition, especially with Mars in Aquarius. Now, Jupiter also conjuncts Neptune, and you may be less concerned with the circumstances that cause suffering now, and more about compassionate action and helping others where you can in a practical way. We may be more growing exponentially now spiritually, as the outside world can feel like it's closed or no longer something you want to be so much a part of. And this is where we begin to really delve more inward and into prayer. Others can experience this differently and live almost in a false happy bubble, unaware of what's really going on around them, or thinking that they can get away with anything. This is not a time to take risks or gamble investment-wise. It's important to be careful with business dealings and to not be misguided or taken for a ride with all of this Piscean energy, because just as much as you have the upper vibration of compassion and love for humanity and service to others and kindness and all of that, we also have the criminal side of Pisces, the hidden side of Pisces, and which is also connected to the end of life and loss and diseases and things like that. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Mars enters Pisces, and what could happen as well in regards to water in general. Now, in general, we are super sensitive, and at times it could seem like we can feel what others are feeling. Don't allow prejudice to inhibit development on your path forward. Governmentally, we could experience more action, exploiting popular trends for selfish or devious purposes, especially with Pluto reaching this critical degree and the exaltation degree of Mars in Capricorn. The government-controlled media can no longer be trusted. Now, this full moon is also in the nakshatra of Uttara Palguni, which is the head of a bed, or upholding sacred vows of love and friendship, which symbolizes a life of luxury or comfort or riches. And for me, this is really a signal of the full moon ending this mentality of riches and comforts. The world is changing now, and we're going to want much more deeper things, and our views are going to become much more spiritual than materialistic. A realization, so to speak, that our soul's journey is just that, a journey, and we are not measured on how much wealth and riches and praise we attain in this lifetime, but rather what we meant to others and how we made them feel and what our purpose is. And our purpose is always connected to that which brings us joy, but also to that which brought us pain, as we can use that to reach others and to tap into others in that way. Now, the number 27 also expresses a love for and interest in the well-being of humanity, and focuses on diplomacy and wisdom. And it's about non-judgment, compassion, and tolerance of others and beliefs, and helping others, reinforcing again, standing together against abuse of power. I'd like to read to you the inside degrees for the moon at 27 degrees of Virgo. The magician disrobes, and he has no sex organs. We bear a dream within us, and in that dream we can magically disperse every partisan consideration and make the truth a commonsensically shareable thing. We endow that dream with more of ourselves than any outwardly existing realities. Slowly we foster its seeds. There just must be a way to find the common point, to no longer be jerked around by gender politics and all the other anti-brotherhood, anti-sisterhood currents. So we endow the dream with our heart's aspirations, and when we give our all to it, the dream comes true. But until that point, we are worlds apart from others in harboring the dream of our coming reunion with everybody. Now Mercury, the ruler of the full moon at 13 degrees of Pisces, the Sabian symbol for this is an ancient sword used in many battles, is displayed in a museum. And the keynote here is through the effectual use of his will and consecrated man, a consecrated man, can become a symbol of courage for all those who follow in his footsteps. Willpower is the ultimate spiritual weapon, and its undeviating use is the certification of individual worth. Wherever found, this symbol emphasizes the imperative need to make use of the will in meeting the basic challenges of the inner life as well as outer adversaries. With this third symbol of the 69th sequence, we see singled out and strongly emphasized the one power in man, which is an assurance of victory in the contests generated by social or occult processes in which he has become an active part. The individual must use that willpower, yet it is not really his own once he operates at a spiritual level. It is God's will operating through his mind, which focuses its thrusts. It is, occultly speaking, the power of the brotherhood, the energy of the whole operating through the one pointed individual who has made this whole aware of the need for its use in a particular situation. Now, sensitive organs during this time can be the colon, small intestine, pancreas, the digestive tract, the sense organs, eyes and ears, as well as the lymphatic system, the blood. Surgical operations are not recommended, and it is not medical advice, therefore please consult your physician. Things have been very emotional and even very messy for some, chaotic in cases, very deep things coming out now. And we are to remember that perfection is not necessary or realistic with this Virgo energy, keeping things practical and simple, and tackling one at a time to avoid overwhelm is key. To talk to someone if we feel we are drowning. You're not alone. Therefore, pay attention to your body as your emotions and answers manifest in it. We are to self-care toward wholeness, as when we work through our pain and wounds, we become whole and attract whole people. And we then lose that pull for control. You can tackle your goals now with new perception with this energy and use this strong intuitive energy to assist in lighting the path towards tomorrow, even though it might look differently now. And remember that you are divinely guided and protected. This is a time of acceptance, non-attachment, allowing the unfolding to happen as it should, to let go of the need to control what is for you. Cannot escape you. And sometimes things happen to turn out even better than we planned. And there is growth in loss. There is something to gain even in sacrifice. And there's always wisdom and surprises. This is, after all, just a segment in your journey. We are on God's timing and not our own. Boots on the ground, baby. Do your best. Stay positive. Stay in gratitude. Keep praying. Keep hoping. Keep the faith. Keep your children safe and keep moving forward. You're alive now, and you're here for a reason. You're born for a time like this. You're strong enough to be here. So be alive. Make it count, because it's time to move. Thank you for listening. I will be changing things up a bit starting in April and the new astrological year, as I'm going through some large transitions at this time and have been for the last 2 years. Also, if you like, check out my 2022 rising sign forecast videos, as they can be very helpful in preparation throughout the year. Also, check out my forecast I did for the 2021 general astrological year, as well as the one for 2022, to get sort of an overall perspective of the age of Aquarius and where things are headed going forward, which will help you in preparation for what's to come. A couple of years ago, this might have sounded quite crazy, but now it's becoming more real every day. May the sun shine bright on you this day. May there be blessings coming your way. Happy equinox with spring in the northern hemisphere and autumn for the southern hemisphere. Until next time.